Hey everybody. This is the first one of these I've done that's actually difficult to make. I don't really want to, if I'm honest. But let's do it. What the hell? So, the last 3 days for me have been completely weird. 4 days. This is going to be difficult to talk about without going into immense detail, so bear with me as I and ahh my way through it. Also, fair warning, if you are triggered in any way by hearing about other people's direct experiences, then this one might not be for you, okay? So what I'm going to talk about is the last 3 or 4 days. Because I think it's important that it's all well and good me talking about things like markers of BPD and NPD and how they've affected me and that sort of thing, but this is it sort of happening right now. Or at least coming to an end. Again, sorry, excuse pauses and stuff like that. Right, if you're just arriving at the channel, this is not a great one to start with. Go back a few or something. Watch anything other than this one. This is a weird one. So it starts with, I hesitate to call them obtrusive thoughts because I think that's a more permanent, all the time kind of thing. But the whole, when you go to bed, that's when you start getting all the bad thoughts about everything. I don't know that that's an uncommon thing, to be honest. I think even people without personality disorders get that kind of thing. But it won't go away. And for me on sort of Monday night, it didn't go away. And the thoughts that bother me are sort of unique to they all surround the personal circumstances under which my BPD developed at all. So there's a lot of family issues here, which again is a very common thing. There's a lot of family issues here. And so I didn't sleep on Monday night. And by Tuesday was pretty irritable, to say the least. And as things go on, I started to get angrier and angrier about these particular family issues. The problem I have, again, this is difficult without going into detail, is that from my point of view, these particular issues are causing my issues. And the reason, and in order for that to stop, this issue needs sorting. But there seems to be I don't know, it's difficult to confront those issues. And people don't want to confront those issues. But until they are, it's all very at the forefront of my mind on a day-to-day basis. And so as I'm dealing with this and a lack of sleep, things started to escalate. God, this is difficult to talk about. I sort of realized that there's a limit to my calmness and that control. And something that very easily pushes me over the edge is being accused of being over the edge. And having to deal with people in that context. People who think you're being manic, you're being ranting and shouting and raving and stuff like that. When in actual fact, what you are is angry at something very real. It's not an uncontrolled manic thing. It's a very real problem and it's hurting you. It's no different to crying out when you stub your toe, but a more extreme emotional version of it. And it carried on for me throughout the next night, and I didn't sleep. until the next day, when I was now at this point. At that point, I think that was when sort of control was lost and a lot of NPD takes over in a sort of protective form, and my filter comes off altogether. I've said some fairly horrific things to people because there's just no filter and no control and no desire to control it either. It's all in total free flow at that point. Until you eventually find a way to calm down. And it's been my experience that these things do eventually burn themselves out. Especially when you've not slept over 2 nights. I hope I'm sort of, what am I doing? I'm sort of recounting this experience, and this is all part of it. I know we all have these breakdowns. This is the emotional volatility, and we're all looking for a way to control that and keep it in and not lose control. And it's extraordinarily difficult to do. And I think we punish ourselves severely when we lose it. Which is a different video, but it's very important not to do that. The purpose of this is also to illustrate very clearly that I'm talking about this stuff, but I'm no better than anybody else. Which is something I know that's another sort of all in my mind kind of thing, but I've sort of had that feeling of you making videos about this, who the fuck are you? You know, and I would hate for anybody watching to think that I'm somebody or something, you know? Does that make sense? I have these total collapse moments. Now, beyond anything I said to people while arguing about all these issues that I obviously can't go into, I think I said some horrible things. Nobody was ever physically harmed, or I've been here in my house on my own. And I certainly have no intention of harming myself. All of that is totally gone from me. And it's just been a really horrible time. I eventually managed to start sleeping at around 2-3 o'clock this morning, which was Wednesday morning. So I wasn't even tired enough to sort of fall asleep reasonably early. And then got up about 10 hours later. And it's been a very strange day. It's been a very strange day. And again, difficult to describe. Very dissociative, very detached. I realized that you get that feeling of looking in the mirror and not really feeling attached to the person that's looking back at you. And as the day's gone on, it's sort of worn down. It's gotten better. I feel quite human right now, albeit absolutely shattered and still not in sync because I'm doing this at 3:05 in the morning. So I just wanted to get something out there, and because I've not done anything since that first video in the beginning of the week when things were still all right, and I didn't feel right sort of just glossing over this. I don't know if I'd count it as some sort of episode or breakdown or something like that. I still feel a sort of push to breaking point kind of feeling. And maybe it's up to me to in some way detach from that and not allow myself to be pushed to breaking point, which is very difficult to do. And the other ways to actually deal with these problems. I mean, if somebody's punching you in the face, there's only so much you can learn to deal with, isn't it? Before you have to say, "Could you stop punching me in the face, please?" And if you've been seriously hurt by somebody repeatedly punching you in the face, and they're sort of unaware of that, you can understand wanting to tell them, can't you? That would seem to make sense. And that's kind of where I am. That's where I've been. So this is a weird one, isn't it? This is not what I like to do. But I'm kind of just saying, yeah, this is a thing. This is... The last 3 days of my life are kind of blurry and kind of hazy. And I've been totally lost and just spent screaming and shouting and crying and pacing around my house endlessly and not eating, which never helps. So it's been difficult, as I'm very sure it has been for everybody that I managed to get in contact with during that time. So, yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to do a more normal video next time. Like I say, I didn't want to gloss over this. It's been a weird time and I thought I'd share that with you. Sorry if that's a bit weird. We'll see, because people write comments and stuff. Please don't worry with the whole... I'm okay. Right? I'm okay. I'm gonna be even better tomorrow, and I'm better now than I was yesterday, and all of that. It's all... Don't worry about anything. But yeah, you can see I'm kind of spacey still. This is the thing. This is it. And sometimes they're short and sometimes they're long, and it's all greatly affected by what causes them and how they're escalated or de-escalated or whatever. I think I need to learn some exercises to stop these thoughts coming in, but then focusing is difficult. You've been there. This is nothing special, is it? It's just shit. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye.